Hi, my name is Chaplain Bender, and I'm the 36th Infantry Division Chaplain with the Texas Army National Guard. Do you have an image etched in your memory that you will take with you to the grave? My daughter is about to get married, and when she was but an infant, not even 18 months old, I took her to the emergency room, and the doctor decided that she needed a very painful procedure. And when he began that test, I will, for the rest of my days, be haunted by the look that my daughter gave me in that moment. It was a mixture of fear, shock, intense pain, and what was most disturbing to me, a look of having been betrayed. My daughter, my baby girl, she couldn't put two words together, but her eyes spoke with an eloquence that pierced my very soul. I could see in her eyes the questions she was thinking but couldn't formulate. Daddy, what is happening to me? I've never experienced anything like this, and I am scared. You've never let anything like this happen to me, Daddy. Why are you doing this to me? And I never felt so helpless in all my days. And everything within me wanted to communicate to her, sweet girl, I love you more than you could possibly imagine. And I know that you can't understand it because this hurts so bad, it doesn't seem possible that this is in reality good for you, and that it is restoring your health and will help you to grow and flourish. But I could not get her little mind to understand that, and all I could do is just hold her and cry with her. Well, we both survived, and she, as we all do, grew up. We grow in wisdom and knowledge and understanding, and because of that, unfortunately, sometimes we grow in pride. I say that because we go through times of trauma and great pain and sorrow and heartache and suffering, and we refuse to hold out the possibility that maybe, just maybe, what is occurring to us is happening for reasons beyond our ability to understand at the moment. And despite how painful the circumstances might be, God is actually using them to restore our health so that we might grow and flourish. Now, if I were to stop right there, that would be a gross oversimplification of life, because the truth is we suffer for many reasons. Sometimes it's simply a matter of our own sinful choices. We stray from the path of God and receive in ourselves the very consequences He was trying to protect us from. Like when I jumped off the top of the jungle gym, disobeying my grandmother. She didn't punish me, gravity did. And every painful step afterward was a reminder she was protecting me from pain, not from fun. Sometimes God disciplines us as a father disciplines his children so that we might grow and might bear fruit. He prunes us so that we might be more productive. Sometimes we experience pain and sorrow at the hands of others innocently because they use their freedom to disobey God and act selfishly and sinfully, and we bear in ourselves the collateral damage of sin, and there is always collateral damage to sin that affects others. Sometimes we experience heartache and loss simply because we live in a temporarily broken world filled with death and disease and disaster. Sometimes it's God challenging us and testing us and revealing things about us in difficult circumstances that we wouldn't otherwise know. Sometimes He's preparing us for even greater victories ahead, like a trainer would bring an athlete through a program of progressive overload. Sometimes it's a combination of many of those things. And unfortunately, there may be occasions where we don't know why we went through what we went through until we get to the other side of glory. But listen to me, brothers and sisters. The important thing is not so much knowing why we are experiencing the circumstances we are in, as it is to know who is sovereign over the circumstances that we are in. That for those who love God, no matter what the reason, He is capable of causing all things to work together for good. And all of these things, we will be more than conquerors. And in the meantime, take comfort in the fact that we do not serve a God who sits on high, looking below as a spectator, completely unmoved or unaffected by the affairs of humanity. The feet that were wounded still tread the paths of this planet, and the heart that was broken on that tree still mourns at human suffering. And even now, God is holding you in His almighty, everlasting arms. I know that there are those of you who are struggling right now for good reason. We don't know what the future holds. Many of us don't know if we'll have a job when this is all through. And although we've been quarantined and our income has been quarantined, the expenses have not. The bills and the responsibilities keep rolling in, and we don't know how we are going to make ends meet. Many of us, unfortunately, are concerned about the health of our loved ones and are uncertain about their future. Many of us are like Lucy and Edmund and Eustace in the Chronicles of Narnia series, who, in the book The Voyage of the Dawn Treader, find themselves sailing towards the island where all dreams come true, when in reality the dreams that come true are nightmares, and their ship becomes enveloped in darkness, and the crew is overwhelmed with a state of fear and panic, rowing wildly in the darkness, each hearing a different horrifying sound, the sound of giant scissors or enemies climbing and clamoring up the sides of the ship, huge gongs. And in that moment, Lucy does what we should all do. She prays to the Christ figure in that book, a lion by the name of Aslan. She says, Aslan, Aslan, if there was ever a time you loved us, send us help now. And nothing happened. The darkness didn't grow any less dark. But inside, she felt a very little bit better. And eventually, a single shaft of light shone on the ship, and she saw in it what she thought was a cross. In reality, it was an albatross that circled the ship 3 times and began to lead the ship out of the darkness. And what no one else heard was a voice whispering in Lucy's ear, "Take courage, dear heart." And in a few moments, the darkness turned to a grayness. And before they even began hoping, they shot out into the sunlight and were once again in the warm blue world. And everybody realized there was nothing to be afraid of. There never had been. Soon, beloved, God is going to shoot us out of this darkness into the light of his love, back into the warm blue world that we once knew. For God is still the good shepherd. We shall not want. He still makes us to lie down in green pastures and leads us beside the still waters. He still restores our soul. Let him restore your soul. He still leads us in the paths of righteousness for his name's sake. And yea, though we walk through this valley of the shadow of death, we need not fear any evil, for he is with us. Let his rod and his staff comfort us. He will prepare for us a table in the presence of our enemies and anoint our head with oil, and our cup will overflow. Surely we will know that goodness and mercy have followed us all the days of our lives. And soon, and very soon, beloved, we shall dwell in the house of the Lord forever, where sorrow and sadness will be no more for all of eternity. Amen. Amen. God bless you.